I just made that up. I just made that up. Take what's given. You'll get what you want to take.
Gather the troops. Get up off the mat and get a big win right here.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Safl. E. What's good, my guy?
Another week. Had a lot of forfeits. This was actually, to be honest with you, the most unmemorable week that we've had.
We got some memorable things though.
But it was an uneventful weekend. We did, but just keeping it real. The forfeits kind of put a damper on the week a little bit. But we had some good football. Highlighted by the game of the week.
The game of the week.
The way we talked about it, like the game of the year, game of the season, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, if the storyline writes itself, we're just here to,
we just got to talk about it.
We just got to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Let's get right into it. Let me get us out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me just get the D3 recap up.
Let's start with D3.
We're gonna start with D3 today.
All right.
So, as you can see, and you know what? We're gonna start with the game of the week. Ball Hawks. Spartans 2.0. Let's make sure we add the 2.0 because this isn't the same Spartans before. This is Spartans 2.0. That's improved, right? So I got to watch this game.
I ref this game.
And you ref this game. So what were your you know what? Better than me talking about it. Let's bring on our first guest tonight. Already. Let's bring on our first guest tonight. The QB of the Spartans 2.0 in a big 21-0 shutout against his former team, Rob. Rob. What up, man?
Hi, Rob. And as far as he goes, I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Whoa.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
What's good,
but no,
man?
What's up, B? How you guys doing?
No, we're great.
We're doing good, man. We
Good.
are glad to have you on, Rob. This has been a long time coming. You getting on the show.
Let's talk, but full transparent. Let's talk about how it happened, because Rob was supposed to be the post-game interview, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We went to him and said, "You have two options. You can have your 1-minute interview, or you could come and pause. You could come on the show and do what you do." So the floor is
Rob
yours.
chose his moment on the show to talk about what happened in this game. You know what? Hold on. Let me try to get us. I'll play the pregame when we get into it. So Rob, 21-0. 21-0. Is that the game you expected?
No. I didn't expect 21-0. I expected it to be like everyone else thought. I expected it to be tight, but I thought that we would win just because of the talent that our team has and how we've changed over the last 5 games and the additions we made to the team and the additions we made to play calling. So I did think it was going to be close because, Elijah and those guys, they can play ball a little bit. The win definitely took a toll on both of us at times. I just think that we did the small things well, and that's what led to a victory.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? We're here to dig and pry a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about the breakup, and did this game mean more? I know going into the game, it's just another game. Me and we're gonna call about me and Sonny don't have beef. You know what I mean? Talk about that.
Yeah. All right, I will.
Yes,
Listen. Everybody needs a good Netflix show, man. And honestly, Sonny and I could have been a very good Netflix show. I mean, Anas, I got to give props to Anas, bro. First off, I got, I don't know a lot of these guys in the league, and I'm just gonna start with Anas. He's been like very supportive of me playing quarterback, even when I first started with the Savages. And Anas messages me on the regular, talks positive all the time. So I got to give it to Anas, but also the guy is hysterically funny with the picture of me, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick. That was the funniest picture I've ever seen. It's enjoyable. So I'll tell you straight up what the breakup with Sonny was, and this is from my perspective. Remember, there's many perspectives in this culturally diverse world, so I will 100% tell you flat out that my perspective was when Joe and I joined the team and we brought Ricky on. We got along great with Sonny, and all the guys that he brought on the team. I love those guys, man. I really do. I love each and every one of them, even Arnab and Shagor. I love those kids. I really do. And the fact of the matter was we just weren't scoring points and we weren't winning games. And at the end of the day, they blamed the QB. And when we were really breaking down the film, it was a lot on me, but it was a lot on our defense. And then our defense started playing better, and we still weren't winning games. We were still losing by 6 or 7. And I could understand the frustrations with Sonny. And I used to go home and I would say, like, he's right that we're not scoring, but to change the team, I don't think he's right, because a lot of guys saw a lot of faith in that team back in the spring, and so did I. Don't get me wrong. Even Usman would come up to me and he's like, yo, I like this team you have. You got to stay with them. Guys would constantly be supportive on the side. They'd be like, you got a good thing going. And again, the same thing that you saw in the first 5 weeks was up 14, going to second half, we'd lose the game. We did it 4 times this season, and that's been on me. And I even told the defense, that's been on me. There was 2 games where the defense got completely blown to bits, and we just couldn't keep up. We were missing players, i.e. whatever, drop passes, But I think a lot reflects on me. Sonny had every right to be mad at how I was playing. He did, 100%. But what I did not like that happened was that it was just such a quick breakup, and there was a lot of miscommunication / going behind backs and whatnot. And me and Joe and Ricky didn't like that. So what me, Joe, and Ricky basically did was we were like, we're going to make our own team. And I don't care what it takes. We're going to get as many guys as we possibly can. We're going to come back and we're just going to do what we got to do. Now, leading up to the fall, man, it was great going out practicing. Every week we met with these new guys, 10, 12 guys meeting on the field. We got to scrimmage you guys. We got to scrimmage Anas's team. I'm like, this feels so good. It really does. And then we go out and, the hype is Sonny's got a new quarterback. He's got a new little trophy piece. He's, a little, this kid is like, the new, Caleb Williams. This kid's running all over the joint, throwing 1 million touchdowns a game. And I'm like, good for Sonny, man. I can't wait to see this kid in action. Nothing against you, Elijah. You're great. Trust me. And then we go out week 1 and we have that monsoon game, and we don't score against the Thunder. And the Thunder they knew that we should have blown them out that game. We were on the 7-yard line 8 times, and we just dropped passes. The ball was it was monsoony. And I told myself, here we go again. I said, here we go again. It's gonna be the same nonsense over and over again. And then everybody in the chat did something that not everyone in the chat with the Spartans did in the spring, and that was everybody stayed positive. They were like, dude, you played well. We all played well. Yeah, we dropped passes. So what? Who cares? We go out the next week. We get the number 1 team, which now is the number 2 team. Night's Watch, my old team, Hosh I've known 20 years. We go out there, we score a little bit against them. We have a decent game. Everybody's happy. And you know what it is? I think everybody's happier on this team this time around, because it's not that the expectations are we need to win every single game. I think the expectations are we got to grow as a team, continue to be better every single week. And as long as we see positivity, we're all in. And I think that's really what this win this past weekend was everybody was all in. And honestly, I think the biggest secret, which hit me like 4 days before we got on the field, was Ahmed and Eshan reached out to me and they were like, listen, we got kicked off our D3 team. And I said, wow, I could have guessed that. And no, literally, I'm like, wow, I could have guessed that one, not a shock here. And I said, what do you guys plan on doing? And they're like, well, we want to join. And I said, I don't know, it might be too late. Let me contact Rob. I said, I would love to have you guys on the team, because if you go back to the film in the spring, who was I throwing touchdowns to? Ahmed. Every game. It was Ahmed both times, and Eshan was a nice, good little slot receiver in and out. Great kid, right? And I said they'd be good additions to the team. And it was just like almost like a silver lining where it was like dropped from the Ball Hawks, picked up by the Spartans. Spartans play the Ball Hawks the next week. It was almost like it was almost like somebody
revenge
set.
game.
Yeah, it was like somebody set this up. And again, no disrespect to Sonny. The way I was playing was not good enough to win in this league. It wasn't. We won week 1 against Lights Out. We cut them up a little bit week 1. That was, last season when Rowe was, in the springtime when like Rowe and that team were a little bit new. And then after that, we just couldn't find our way. And there was a lot of like tension and no talking. And then there was a message that that went unsent. I didn't see it. And then it was like, are you not listening to what I'm saying? And it was my team versus this and that. And I said, look, I'm here to play football. I'm here to throw the ball, and I'm here to get better every single week, and I'm all in. I watch film, so you got to know that I'm not here for my health. I'm certainly not here for my health. So it's this weekend's game was to me it was another game. To everybody else, it meant a lot. It really did. It meant a lot. I mean, I'm not saying the game didn't mean a lot to me because it sure did, but once again, it wasn't good enough for me because I still think that game again, you were reffing that game could have been 35-0. It could have been 35-0. And the wind definitely played a factor. 30 mile an hour winds, blowing all over the place and not taking the small shots here and there. But that game could have got out of hand. And it should have. So.
All right. Well, you came in, handled business in the game. Like I said, for you guys, this was you already explained to the people watching how all of this came about, and like I said before, the storyline wrote itself. And I was a little surprised because I knew the 2 guys that joined you were 2 of the better receivers.
Yeah, me too.
Over there, so that was a little weird to me that those would be the 2 that would be off of the team. And fitting, they come and they join you, and you guys get the revenge game 21-0 win over Sonny and the Ball Hawks. Rob, let me get into some stuff about your team. So Let me say this. You guys look functional at times and then dysfunctional at times. Right? So it's like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes. So
it is.
I see it on defense. I'm going to say the offense for the most part runs smooth, and then there's some drops here and there, and then maybe a little hiccup, but mostly on defense, I see sometimes there's a disconnect between the bunch. So can you elaborate on that and how you guys are going to work on fixing that moving forward?
I can. I'm not going to say what type of defense we run. I've listened to like 4 people. Tell me like,
it's out there, man. It's out there. They know.
I'm gonna laugh a little bit because the greatest part about it is that I have to give the biggest props. Now, look, I'm not gonna. He'll be player to be named later who wears pads to a flag football game. I love Charlie so much. Charlie and me have so much in common. It's just our brains take a left and right hand turn. And I sometimes I have to tell you though, man, some of the best defense I've seen in the last 3 weeks out of our defense, and that's because Charlie is in everybody's you-know-what, and everyone's buying in. And at times it was dysfunctional against the sleepers. I told him straight up, you got blown up on defense. He wouldn't come out of the game. He popped a calf, had a bad hammy. He wouldn't come out. He kept getting beat left and right. He's stubborn, but he's really great for the defense. A lot of the guys listen to him. They respect him. And a lot of the guys who are on our team are also other guys. There's about 3 or 4 guys who were removed from other teams because they were deemed not good enough. And I said, you know what? We're going to use this whole let's not be good enough, right? Let's not be good enough for everyone. And then we'll make a not good enough team, and we'll just do it. We'll have some fun. Mm-hmm. We have some guys on the team who, at the end of the day, if they try to join other teams, they would never see the field, right? Even me. Sometimes if I wanted to go QB another team, I'd be the backup QB and I'd never see the field unless that kid was sick, right? Because guys would look at me and be like, well, he can score a lot in the first half. He's got a big arm, but he doesn't take the short stuff and he doesn't have good second half, so we don't know if we could use him. So our motto on this team is like, it's fine. You can keep thinking we're not good enough, but we are good enough. And even Hashem, who at times was negative about the way that we played when we played together, came to me and he was like, yo, you guys are a very dangerous team. He's like, you have put together a very solid, dangerous team. And he's like, the guys that you found, I mean, look, it is what it is. But as far as the defense moving forward, what we did this week, and we'll go over that single high coverage that everyone's talking about. I've gotten texts about it. Yo, what are you running single high and flag for? And I'm like, yo, first thing I said was single high. I said, what the hell is single high? And then I said, oh, you just mean Charlie roaming around like a madman by himself and in the two corners, two safeties playing up. It's not a single high. What happens is sometimes people miss their assignments. They mess up on their assignments. And the defense Charlie's trying to run, it was put on display this weekend. You know, if you notice, a lot about what Elijah tried to do was Elijah didn't try to throw deep too much. And when he did, it was almost picked off every single time. When Elijah threw short, flags were pulled because our upper guys are very quick now and they understand zoning and spacing of defense.
You also
the thing about this, we did have a pick 6 against him. We had 2 other picks against him. Amal had a pick. Amal's had like 3 picks on the year. I mean, it is what it is, you know? So basically what happened to Charlie was, against the sleepers, this is what happens. Like, the sleepers are a good team. And what sucked the most, and let me explain to you, when you're a quarterback in the sleeper, Rob knows, I call Rob once a week sometimes, and I'll sit on the phone with Rob, and we'll break down a couple things. We'll just talk about stuff. And the thing about the sleepers was I went into that game not thinking they were that good. I went in thinking they were lazy. They looked lazy on film. And I'm watching the film, and I'm like, nah, these guys, they're not that good. I think we can snake one from them. And then out of nowhere, my man got pantsed on the 10-yard line and still threw a touchdown. I said, this is going to be a rough day for us because this kid's throwing all over us and our defense doesn't know what they're doing. We were kind of blindsided by the sleepers. I think everybody on my team was, and then we went out and we told ourselves, like, we're never underestimating a team again. Every team we play is going to be the best team in the league. That's it. Doesn't matter who they are. I don't care about record. And when we went out against the Ballhawks, it just all came together, and that's really it. As far as the defense goes, though, we don't run a single high. People just miss their assignments. Charlie's not that crazy. He doesn't run a single high and flag. But at times it does look like a single high. So I get it.
During your game, I was on the side and I'm like, what are they doing? And then it was a pass to the left sideline and Charlie made it over there.
He made the play.
He made the play. So I just had to go, I guess they know what they're doing.
I know exactly which play you're talking about too. Is the one to the end zone where he almost picked it off?
Yeah. He almost got to it. He got to it.
He's deceptively quick, man. It's weird for him. He's older. He's much older. And you have to understand something. We have a team where there are 4 of us and the 2 best receivers on the team, we're all 40 years old. I'm 40, Keith is 40, Joe F is 40. Charlie's 45 or something like that. We're all old. We are. We're just here because I just want to say I could run with 25-year-olds again. That's all. It is what it is. Living the dream, So.
You guys, one thing I'm going to say about your team, you guys played the number 1 team pretty tough.
I will go over that game too if you want me to real quick. I'll do it in 30 seconds. I know exactly where we went wrong.
Go ahead. You because you played them tough. You started the game really. You gave them problems.
You talking about lights out?
Lights out, Lights out didn't have an easy game against you guys, so that's actually saying a lot.
So it was our second game as a team. It was our 4th total game because we scrimmaged twice, practiced a lot, but we didn't have Joe, and we lost Keith in the second half because Keith had to go home. He had a emergency at work or emergency with his kids, I forget. So we didn't have our 2 best receivers. We moved the ball down the field really well. I did hit 2 really big throws against them. Hosh knows I like to throw deep, so they would cover deep back. They were doing a cover 3. This is what happens. But that game, my mistake in the first half was we were up 7-0 with the ball. One of their players jumped a route. Keith had his hands on the ball. The kid snatched the ball, ran it back for 6. Then we went down, scored again, made it 13-6. Then what happened after that was just a disaster. Our defense was bending and breaking. We lit up 2 scores before the half, nonstop. Tommy Kurz is fast. He puts the ball in the right spot. I think he threw like 4 touchdowns that day. And no matter who he threw to, they were wide open. So it was obvious missing assignments on our defense. But again, our defense was very new then. I do feel like if we do play them again in the playoffs, which it looks like we probably will, depending on what the standings are, I think it's going to be a really good game. I do. And we'll have our full force, most likely. So,
but that's the Night Watch game you're talking about. Rob was referring to the Lights Out game. When you guys were up, I think 13-0.
You guys might have been up.
And then you threw
Ro, I mean this in the nicest way. You are a stud. number 22 on the defense. You are a stud. We should have waxed your behinds, bro. We should have waxed it. That should have been the talk of the day. It would have been the best thing we ever did. My mistake thinking I could throw an out route off 2 seconds. This kid jumped around on an out route in 2 seconds. That kid, number 22, I forget his name, he's a stud. And what Rowe did was he was resilient. He went down the field slow. He picked the middle apart. Every single time he picked the middle apart, he would make Charlie move. Charlie would move. Our receiver would cross. Rowe would drop the ball over the middle. That's how they were going down the field. We took away the deep stuff, picked him off 2-3 times, and we scored very easy in the first half. Second half didn't score. I had a terrible second half. They made changes. We didn't.
Okay. That has seemed to be, except in this last game, that has seemed to be the Achilles heel of Spartans 2.0. Great first halves, and y'all haven't been finishing. Y'all finished this week. So is there going to be more of that for the rest of this season?
So I will tell you, I'm the most critical of myself, and even Hashem didn't get a chance to see how critical I was of myself because I was too busy getting ripped apart every single week in D2 because of the attendance. Hash, I love you, buddy, but it's true. Also, with Sonny, I was constantly going back to and from with Sonny on the field, like talking to him, and then in the chat it'd be a different vibe, and I was just like, whatever. But now I have my friends around me. These guys I've known for 20 years. They're guys that I've known that I played football with 15 years ago when we played indoors at Hofstra. They all know what I can do. I know what they can do. And we're all, like last night I had an hour conversation with Safl about how, what we're doing in the future, what we're going to do in the spring with our team, things like that. So sorry about that. So basically it's just like, I just think it's a different feel. I think this team is just a different feel for me.
It's your team. That's the difference.
Yeah. That's the big difference is that at the end of the day, I have to be crucial of myself, and the second half of the Ballhawks game, let it be known that we played awful in the second half of the Ballhawks game. We did. We played very, very, very awful. Like, we moved down the field. If E remembers, we could have made it 21-0. I missed 2 throws over the sideline. The wind was – I was putting the ball in the air. The wind was just going. It was just taking it wherever it wanted to go. And in the second half, we stopped Elijah quick. We drove down to the 5. They stuffed us on the 5. Stopped Elijah again, picked him off, went down again. I threw a pick in the corner. The one pick I threw, this kid came out of nowhere. You can watch it on camera. Great pick by him. And then a third time we get the ball. We're back in the same zone, and Charlie flicked a pitch,
yeah.
and it was picked. It was picked by Owie. He's not even, Charlie sometimes doesn't look when he flips, and I'm like, hello, but
yeah. For the record, he wasn't even supposed to be in on that play. You had sent him off, and he didn't want to get off, and then he turned the ball over. I made a point that I was going to bring that up. You were sending him off, and then he pitched it to the other team.
He did, and again, man, if my guys are watching, if they're going to watch this, I love this team. I really do. Like, I don't have to add anybody else to this team, and I'd be happy playing for the next however long I'm allowed to play. I really do. The energy's great. Everybody is just happy to be there. And even though Charlie made that one mistake, we all laughed at him. We were like, see why you don't pitch the ball? Like, we were all making fun of him. Like, it's funny. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Nobody gets on one another, and everyone's learning, and I'm cool with it. I am. Are there going to be games where we get thrown behind the shed and beat? Yeah, probably. There might, But are there going to be games where I win 28-7? Yeah, there definitely is. So I know those days are coming. You just got to buy in. That's it.
All right.
You have a lot of the league watching, so we're going to finish off with this. The Spartans 2.0 can win it all if. Finish that sentence.
If I throw 2 touchdowns in the second half, the Spartans 2.0 are going to win the championship.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I like that answer.
If I throw 2 touchdowns in the second half of any game this season, we are 5-1. We're 5-1.
Shoot, if you throw one in the extra point against the damn Thunder,
Rob,
that one was a rough day.
Rob, you called Keith out of bounds. The guy was standing in bounds with the ball. I said, you know what, Rob?
Oh no,
is
that one on tape?
You, my friend. It's not on tape. Ginny doesn't come out in the rain. He's a little timid. No, I'm just kidding, Ginny. No, I don't think that game's on tape. But Keith caught a ball in the end zone, and he was on literally in the end zone, and somebody called him out like but from a distance, it might have been James. James will tell you he was out,
I think it
obviously.
was me.
Oh, it might have been
down
you,
the line.
Yeah, but whatever the case is, man.
Neither here nor there.
Again, on the 5-yard line, 8 different times. That's you got to score. It's flag football. You got to score. That's it.
So it sounds like you know. You guys got to close.
I know. And the funny thing is I wanted to let you all know that, Rob, I told you this. I have not played quarterback in 15 years. When Hashem called me to play at Hofstra that first game, and we dropped 40 on like Suicide Squad or whatever it was, I was like, this is easy, man. But it was a reality check for me because this is not as easy as it looks. It's not. And, being simple sometimes is not that simple. That's what I have to say. So I've been through a learning curve the last 2 seasons, and I love to be here. Love it.
Good.
So,
Rob, it was a pleasure having you on.
It was.
Yeah. Congratulations on the win this week.
Thank you.
And we hope to see nothing but good things from Spartans 2.0.
I do. Unfortunately, I did book a trip this weekend, so I won't be quarterbacking my team on Saturday. So Anas is going to have he's going to have to box me another time. I told him that we'll have that matchup maybe in the playoffs, but we do have a backup quarterback who will be playing this weekend, and the entire team will be there except for me, unfortunately. But I got to get my little vacations in when I can.
So you booked this vacation after you knew you were going to beat Sonny and them. You're going to go celebrate.
I see this was the victory vacation for beating Sonny's team. It was. But honestly, seriously, like I understand where they came from, and like as a man, I can tell you, like, my buddy Ricky was screaming on the way home after he caught the touchdown. We were never the problem. And I said, Ricky, you're right. But I said, but at the end of the day, he had one mindset and we have another, and that's it. That's the way it goes. So thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Rob, we'll have you back before everything's said and done. Hopefully for good things. All right.
Yeah. Do me a favor. I wrote 3 really big questions in the chat. Tell Adam to stop dancing around at night, taking trains left and right. Get on these questions because the people need to know what's going on in November. Let's go.
All right, we got you.
Will do.
Love you, Adam. Nothing but love. I'll see you guys later.
Later, Rob.
Oh, a little preview.
A little preview. I got a so we're gonna get so that was our the game of the week, Ball Hawk Spartans. And as you've seen just now, we're gonna move right into the next game.
This one shouldn't take as long.
We're gonna talk about lights out the elites. And seems like a trend today. I got my man Anash, former teammate. Teammates,
both of y'all former teammates.
Yeah, what up, Anash?
Good. How you guys doing?
Same old.
Well, this conversation's not going to be as good as Sonny's, seeing as how you lost.
So. No, we had a bad week, especially me.
All right, so Anas, let's get into your game. You guys, what was the score there?
20-14.
20-4. Oh, close game. What happened?
So, honestly, what happened was I played a terrible game for the first half. The first 3 drives that we went on offensively all ended in picks, and they scored on 2 of them. And so we were down 14 or 2 touchdowns to 0 pretty quickly. And then we scored 1 touchdown, and then they scored again before the half. And so we're down 2 touchdowns basically at halftime, basically because I threw 3 picks to start the game. And we kind of crawled our way back at the end. Like, we scored 1 more touchdown, but ultimately, like, it wasn't enough. Like, honestly, like, if I play a cleaner game, I think this was my first interception like since week 1, and I ended up going 3. So it got real ugly after that.
Well, the first one was batted.
The first one was batted. Yeah,
I want to know, how do you let Roe block a pass?
I was shocked that happened too, because I'm usually pretty far from the line, and Rohit's not like super tall. I had Umair going up the sideline on a pump and go, and the safety crashed. So I just let it go. I was like, man, yeah, if it didn't get tipped, it could have been 6. So shout out to Roe. That was a great play by him.
Yeah. All right. Who is that? Yeah, I must be laughing at the chat.
Drop pick. I remember. Drop TD. And if you want to talk about, you can. There was a team squabble between you and one of your veterans. I I don't know if you want to name. I'll let you speak on it. Go ahead. You got it. The floor is yours.
Yes. So a couple of things. So we did end up getting 2 interceptions. One of them turned out to be a touchdown, and that got us within 1 score. And the other interception that we got, we ended up not scoring. It was like a drop on 4th down, so that could have been a potential game tying. And then we also dropped 5 other interceptions that were within our hands. So honestly, if we get like maybe half of those, just 2 of those, maybe the result is different, maybe not. Who knows? I think the squabble you were talking about was the one between me and Usman.
Yeah.
That's just that happens every single week between like Usman and like one of his teammates. You know, he's a passionate guy. That's why we have him. That's why we love him. So yeah, what happened was like I gave him a route. He didn't complete it. He felt like I should have just thrown the ball to him to where he was, and I was waiting for him to complete the route, and it didn't happen. So yeah, so we got into a little squabble. I told him to run back. Like, if you're not going to run the route, get off the field. He was telling me, don't throw lollipops, throw that shit harder. So it just happens every week. It's nothing personal. We hugged it out afterwards.
Okay. The additions in these last couple weeks have been pivotal in the turnaround of your of the elites this season. You guys struggled early, and having Usman, because I think they were on the team roster already, but adding Usman and Umair has made a big difference. And where did you find Niraj? Like, where did he come from?
Yeah, so Niraj is friends with Harj, and Harj said he had a friend who wanted to play. So he joined. We were trying to get him in the preseason to come play in some of the scrimmages, but he wasn't available. So I actually met him week 1. And so that's why like his stats have been like better recently than they were in like the first few weeks, because we just didn't get any playing time together, like, no time to build chemistry. But now I can, now I see like exactly what he can do. So I'm looking for him almost on every down.
All right. So your new number 1, and then I don't know. I don't even know who's number 1, Niraj or Umair.
You can't pick. They're both great.
It's a great problem to have. Great problem to have.
Great problem to have. Anas,
is Sheep still on this team? I haven't seen him the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's still on the team. I think he's just been busy, or there's been like scheduling conflicts. He was sick this past weekend, which is why he wasn't there. But yeah, he's here.
Okay.
So now, we're getting towards the end of the season. What teams do you have your eye on that you're gonna have to bring your A game?
It's got to be lights out again. It's still got to be lights out. I still see them as like the best team. I mean, like obviously we've lost to a couple of teams already. We're 3-3, but lights out is like probably the most complete team that I see. And I played them also in the spring. They look slightly different, but they still had Rohit at quarterback. So I have a lot of respect for those guys. They have a very great team. Probably the fastest defense in D3, which is one of the reasons why like they were giving me fits. So I think they're probably the most well-rounded team, where they don't really they're not top heavy in any way. Like Rohit's not really looking for 1 or 2 receivers. He can really throw it to anyone on that team. So I would say like they're definitely the best team. And then after that, I would say Night's Watch, just because of like how many veterans they have and how many athletes.
You said Scott Stotts? Oh, you said Night's Watch. Sorry.
We have half the tots too. We got the better half of the tots. The better half of the tots.
I thought you said Scott Stotts, but you said Night's Watch. Sorry.
Night's Watch, yeah, they have a lot of talent, and they also have Hash, who's kind of like that veteran presence who can kind of like channel all that like crazy energy that like Germ and like Tommy have. So I think if they can get under like the leadership of like Hash, they'll definitely be dangerous in the playoffs.
I believe they have the makeup to be dangerous, but
they got talent.
They also have the makeup to be toddish. So that's the problem, man. We've been talking about it. If you've been watching, we've been talking about that for a couple weeks now. And we're in
the same question we gave Rob. The elites will win if
I say if we have full attendance, and if I can not throw a pick, I feel like we'll be able to just like not make our mistakes all the way to the chip.
Okay. Anas, I know we give you a lot of shit on the show, but it's all love from. If y'all don't know it, you new guys probably don't know, but Anas knows it's all love. Anas is one of our favorite players, one of our favorite guys. Yeah. We've played with Anas. We've taken Anas to play with us in other leagues. Yeah. He's one of our guys, main guys in this league. So it's all love. He knows he's going to hear the crap from us, but he knows we mean nothing by it.
You guys earn the right to talk trash.
Okay. Anas, any final words before we let you go?
Final words. I'd say it's been a great season so far. I mean, obviously there's a lot of like ups and downs, lots of like conflicts here and there, but I think it's going great. And I'm gonna call my shot over here. I'm gonna say that lights out. We're gonna have our rematch of the chip. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Whoa!
I think it'll be a rematch.
I'm gonna have to clip that. That might have to go on Instagram. I'm gonna clip that one.
Yeah,
and that's the confidence you're supposed to have. We're rooting for you too. Good luck moving forward, and good luck this week against the Robless Spartans.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
All right,
Anas.
All right.
I like that. I like that man said.
Called his shot.
Called his shot against the lights out versus elites in the finals. I wouldn't be mad at it. All right.
You think that finals happens?
It's a possibility of the finals. You don't think that's one of the finals possibilities?
Yeah, it might be, but
look at let's come on. Let's go through the teams, right? Where would you have? I think we went through this. Where would you have the elites, especially the way they're playing now and with the roster you see now? Where would you have the elites? You're gonna have them top 3.
I have lights out.
Mm-hmm. Elites probably at this point, right? Where
actually sleepers,
yes, and
yes.
elites.
Well, for some reason, call me foolish, whatever. And I know I ripped them last week. It's something about the Thunder D3. I don't know that I feel like they're talented, man. It's something about the Thunder D3.
I don't believe yet.
Huh?
I don't believe yet.
It's between them and the elites, but it's something about Thunder D3. And I think if they put it together, that team is good.
So then you're splitting hairs there with that.
Yeah. So at least might be 3. It's 3, 4, 3, yeah.
All right. All right. So then let's move on to this Night's Watch Sleepers game.
Who you got for this one? Who you got?
I don't got anybody for this one. What is this? Listen, anybody in the chat from this game? Ryan, are you in here? Ryan, here, Ryan. What? Ryan, text me so I can send you a link. You jump in here and give us some insight about this game. Who else? What other game we got? The other game was a forfeit, so nothing to talk about there. Oh, Jeremy also. All right, I got you, Jeremy. Somebody jump in here. You got some of the games we this week. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry. I'm inviting.
And we do have the ability to do more interviews based on the 3 forfeits. A little bit less to talk about.
Yes,
because we're gonna one D1 game break down later. We lost a D2 game. Thanks again, Thunder, and
D3. And then some of the games were just so lackluster that we might even spend any time on it. Germ, that link is to you already. Yeah. I wish I wanted to see this Thunder game because, like I said, the Thunders are a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen terrible Thunder, then we've seen good Thunder the week they played.
Yeah,
it's like what is this team? Like, who is this team? Like, that's the problem. That's why I can't put them in the top 3 because week 1 they scored 7. Then they have a week where they scored 0.
I don't even, but the elites are just as up and down.
The elites have been up. The elites were down, and now they're trending upward. These guys are down. Yeah, they're like a roller coaster.
So you're officially off of Night's Watch.
Am I officially off of Night's Watch?
This was the team that you were subliminally saying that there's one team. It was Night's Watch.
They've been Night's Watch. They can beat themselves because they just need to just get all the internal noise out. Usually it's external noise. They need to get rid of the internal noise.
Yeah.
Like the team is good enough. Bro, but the team is great.
Bro, we said it from the jump. That was going to be the issue. It wasn't the talent. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And now let's see how they deal. This is the reason why we picked the sleepers to beat them. Not saying that they're necessarily a worse team than the sleepers, but we said, can they get off the mat after getting smacked up by lights out?
And this week here, it the loss continues. And speaking of Night's Watch, Germ, what up, my guy?
Yo, what's good, guys?
All right.
What's good, man? So what's going on with the Night's Watch, man?
2-game losing streak. Talk about that, man. Talk about it.
Well, let's talk about Sleepers game. Sleepers, they played a good game. I'm not gonna hold them. They put up 26. That says something for sure. I mean, our defense. It's not that we couldn't get stops. It was. I feel like on offense, everyone's trying to make a play, and that's not what we need. We need to just kind of stick to what we got, and then when we are running the right routes, we got to make sure like we're making a play to the ball, not kind of just sitting there waiting around for it.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I know it's his first real time playing QB. Speak on his team's confidence in Tommy.
No, we trust Tommy.
No.
Tommy, Tommy, he got us the first 4 wins of the season. I mean, I was bullshitting him behind the scenes. I was like, bro, you're not scoring without me on the field. And then he put up 31-0 against the elites, and I was like, all right, fuck you. So you know what? We all trust Tommy. Tommy, he's got the confidence, but then I don't know. The last 2 games, I feel like someone's been chirping in his ear. Like I feel like he's doubting himself more than we're doubting him. And honestly, the game against Lights Out, I understand what you guys meant, but the last game we played, I think we were pretty solid that game. I mean, we literally had a pick with, I don't even know how much time was on the clock. I think a minute left on the clock, and we just couldn't close out. I got a pick off the Sleepers QB, a minute left. We were inside within the half yard, like whatever, the second half of the field.
Okay.
And we had a chance, 1 minute, and we just, I think it was poor execution on the plays, and I think our play selection needs to get better within that last minute.
Okay. Well, you guys are still fair. Like I know some of the players are veteran, but you guys are still a fairly new put together team, and you also are starting with a new QB who is new to QBing, because Tommy's just starting his journey as trying to play QB.
Let me ask something, Rob. Not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
These are things that have to be asked with teams like we know Tommy's not as vocal or whatever like that. So when your team is going through something like this, who's the leader on this team?
Tommy.
Who gets everyone together and says,
Tommy.
"All right, let's get it right"? It's Tommy. It is Tommy.
Tommy.
Okay.
We have Tommy. Tommy's the leader of our team. He makes the plays. He's the offense. He told Hash when he's on defense, Hash leads our defense.
Okay.
So Tommy's the offense. He's the whole team, and then Hash leads our defense.
Okay. All right.
All right. So, as E, go ahead. You got your question for everybody you've been asking.
Go ahead, say something.
No. It's the same question. The Night's Watch wins the championship if
Night's Watch wins the championship if we get better. Our offense starts putting up more scores. We leave too much on the field. Our defense, we have to communicate a little better, but we need to score on offense. That's the big thing. If you're not putting up scores, you're not winning games.
And who do you feel your biggest threat is in D3?
No one.
I like the confidence. Well, Germ,
there's a lot of good teams. No, don't get me wrong, but no one. Respectively.
I just said biggest threat. I didn't say who can beat you, but who's the biggest threat?
There's no threat.
So the
Ourselves.
threat is yourselves. I like that answer actually, because I do feel that. I feel that in some way that is the biggest issue. That's the biggest thing that can stop your team. I'm not saying to win a championship, but being successful, having a successful season. So y'all got to get it together. 2-game losing streak. Y'all got to turn it around this week. Who do y'all play this week?
We play Bullhawks.
So y'all gonna get it together this week.
Y'all gonna get it together. That's the team to get it right. Y'all are gonna get it together.
Sure, we ain't no here to cap. Congratulations.
That's the perfect remedy. That's the perfect remedy for when your team is struggling.
He didn't wait 10 seconds, bro. He was
Perfect
like,
time.
"Oh, y'all gonna get it together.
Y'all gonna get it together. Perfect timing.
Yeah,
there was ever,
you know. So next week, we can start next week's talk. Oh, nice watch. Got it together.
But in all seriousness, though, we're joking. But because you guys should win this game. If you guys do lose to Ball Hawks, that's a different conversation.
We'll have that conversation then.
But I'm not worried.
Ball Hawks, we're just playing. We're just playing. We're going solely based on records and what has happened. Look at you shaking his head like we're not playing.
I know that's for Friday's show, but I'm taking Night's Watch big.
Yeah,
I know we're supposed to wait until Friday. I know. Gosh. I know. Sorry, Rob. I know you're the boss of all this stuff, but no, I'm picking Night's Watch big.
Night's Watch big.
Big.
We got to get the
well, I guess we're not going to be
coming.
separate on that game.
Huh?
We got to get that Safl Sportsbook, bro. Come on.
Oh, that's Anthony. Anthony D.
Anthony, what's the over under on that one? What's the totals there? He in the chat. Germ, we need it. We you know, we're glad to have you on. We want to see you guys successful, and congratulations on your win next week. Good luck. Hopefully you guys can get a win next week. We're just messing around, Night's Watch. We're just messing around. And thanks for coming on, bro.
Appreciate you guys. All right. Take care.
All right. Peace out, Jim.
Peace.
It felt like the 3D ID3 spotlight show.
Yo, you guys, that was
That's the right opponent though. Early 13.5. I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
All right, so I'm gonna show these are the unofficial standings. I sent them in the chat. Tarek will get the official standings that will also be sent out in the chat. I think these records are correct. They should be. So, and this is basically what these are. It's split by who the top teams are. Sleepers have been playing amazing ball as of late. Did we skip the Sleepers game?
That was the game.
It was them. Yeah. Sleepers have been playing some amazing ball. The Sleepers have turned it around as of late.
Right now, to me, they're the second best team in D3,
and they're primed to make a deep playoff run the way they're playing now. They've played from behind. They've closed games. They're just playing good ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Sleepers. All right, E. Dag, we done spent 47 minutes on D3. I guess that's a good thing.
Do D1. It was only one game, so let's get that one out.
All right, D1. Here we go. All right, Silver Snakes forfeited this week against the Gators. No game. Goodfellas All-Stars. A rematch of the team that gave the Goodfellas their first loss this season. Their only loss this season.
Yeah.
And they were able to get it done. But as we can see, this was a close game.
Came out to the last pass. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know his name.
He caught it, but was out of bounds.
1 foot in, the other landed out of bounds. Or
this could easily been a overtime game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just testament to how evenly matched these D1 teams are. Except we haven't seen the Silver Snakes get it together yet, but everybody else has been right there with the other teams. What do you think, E?
Goodfellas still the team to beat, but in the ever-changing D1, it's still sticking in my mind how well AK played last week. Not that, but they were off the week before that. That AK team, man. If Goodfellas, we thought it was gonna be the Gators, but the Gators have shown some
chinks in the armor.
Yeah, right. So if we're gonna do it now, I'm gonna have Goodfellas here.
And right, AK. You kind of far.
AK.
I don't even got a space.
Oh, it's right. Yeah, like, maybe just the way the camera is.
Yeah.
Then I have Goodfellas, AK. Who's better, All Stars or Gators?
All Stars or Gators? All Stars right now are better.
Yeah. And we weren't saying this 2-3 weeks ago. We thought the Gators were the class of the division. That just shows.
Right now, the All Stars are better than the Gators. The All Stars have put a nice roster out there. I hope Nate is good. Hopefully he gets back healthy. He got hurt at the end of that game, but the All Stars are better than the Gators right now. The Gators are, but this is what the Gators do all season long. It's they throw it together, and then somehow become formidable in the playoff time.
No, we can only talk about how they're playing right now.
Yeah, but right now the All Stars are playing.
Goodfellas, AK All Stars.
All Stars playing more consistent ball.
Yeah.
Ty getting it done. Free Ty. I don't know the other two guys' names. One of them is super fast. Then there's a bigger guy that's kind of a little shifty for a bigger dude. Got some good hands. And Nate does Nate things.
Yeah.
In this game, I thought in this game maybe I think the man may have slowed up the start of this game.
That's what it was.
The man defense may have slowed up the start of this game, but look, the 2013. So that means defense is being played on both sides, because with what these teams have, for the score to be 2013, they're not putting it. This isn't a high scoring game at all. So,
but since you mentioned that, Mike, don't let there be a book written on you, man. They saw what AK did to you that week one. Goodfellas didn't play man against you in that other week, and you beat them. They played man. You only put up 13. Your losses have come against teams that do try to man up, that play man. So again, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, we're just observers of what's going on. It's a copycat league, so learn how to beat it. Run man beaters. You have the talent, and you did have guys that got open. Couple drops. A drop. Nate dropped a potential TD. We're gonna call you out on it.
I had to drop on a little quick slant.
Yeah.
I had to drop a little quick slant. My bad, Ty. I gotta call you out too, though.
Gotta call you out.
You guys are the
good and the bad.
When you're one of the big time players, you can't have them. Yeah. You're held to a different standard on the team. So, All Stars, Mike.
We'll make sure that message gets relayed, even if he's not in here. There's enough All Stars in here to say it in the group chat.
Yeah. So, just a close match contest. Just a close match contest. And Goodfellas seem to have the better game plan this week. And then if they play again, All Stars might have the better game plan. So, but the front runners of this division, of course, are the Goodfellas with AK right there.
Yeah.
So, let me pull up the standings for D1. Should be, it goes how it, oh my God. Oh boy, this tie. All Stars, you're supposed to be higher on this list, but we know what happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be number 2.
They're supposed to be 3-1-1.
Yeah.
I mean, no. 3-1-0. My bad.
3-1-0.
Yeah, 3-1-0.
But we're not gonna harp on that again this week. We've moved on. All right.
No, we're doing it wrong. It'll be 3-2, because that tie is supposed to be a win. We give
so 3-2, but it would put them in second place.
Because thing would
and
be
then
2.
AK would have 2 losses. It would just drop them.
Yeah.
They would just go in second place. But we know what happened. They took the blame. They moved on. So we'll move on. All right, let's move on to our largest division, D2. Thunder forfeited against Space Monkey, which is very disappointing because we wanted to see what Space Monkey looked like this week. Not that we wanted to see the Thunder necessarily, but we wanted to see what Space Monkey was looking like with Ponte as QB. These non-played games getting close to the end of the season aren't good for Space Monkey because they're not going to be able to tweak or figure each other out enough. They need to get some games under their belt if they're going to be formidable moving into the playoffs. Let's get into this prime time.
This and if it is illegal, I don't know. But our points scored. When did that come in as a tiebreaker? Because that also doesn't help.
What points?
They
What do
would
you mean?
definitely score like points for.
I am not sure. I'll put something out in the chat when I can't remember. I points. Somebody in the chat knows. Anas knows.
Like
what is
when
the
does that come
second
into play?
tiebreaker?
That's what I mean. Like if our records are tied, then is that the next thing we go to, or is it head to head first and then points for?
Well, we'll get that answer before.
Yeah.
It's somebody write it. I can't remember. Yeah. So where do you want to start, E? Let's go. This was a pretty good game. Let's go Sleepers All Stars. That's not where you wanted to go?
No, go ahead. All these games were all right. Besides Gladiators Wolfpack, it looks like based on this, and Goodfellas out. Let's talk about your game. Sleepers All Stars.
You know what? Let's get Wolfpack Gladiators out of the way. Let's do that. This was basically a professional game by the Gladiators. They just did what they were supposed to do, and just the Wolfpack in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to Omar, so he's already heard this. When things aren't right, the resort is up to Hashitashi.
Come on. I've said that and you've killed me for it.
I have.
On last year, the spring pod. You guys killed me for that. That's what I said.
Yes, it's up to Hashitashi. Now, a play in particular that I'm going to talk about is that it was at the half. If you're going to, at the half, right? The guy that draws the attention. You don't throw it to him. You let him take everybody away, and you look that way, and you come back to the opposite side to somebody who probably doesn't draw any attention. I'm not saying that guy's gonna catch it, but you're not gonna throw it into a bunch if you throw it to the guy that they know is getting the ball. There was
the team
does have guys. There was no adjustment made based on the defense the Gladiators were playing. Me sitting on the outside watching, it's frustrating to watch when you see what the defense is doing, and the receivers nor the play calling by the QB was countering what the defense was doing. It's basically you're running the plays into the defense.
All right. I'm going to ask a question, and we have to be brutally honest about it. He's been balling and deserved the praise. Did we put a spotlight that Hashi might not be ready for?
That he might not be ready. He has to be ready for it.
I get that. I'm asking the specific. Did we put a spotlight that he might not be ready for? Did we thrust him into a position that he himself didn't want to be put in, but based on the way he was playing, we kind of.
So I'm gonna say this, right? We can't thrust people into any position. He thrusted himself. Pause. Mm-hmm. But with the show and us talking about him, I feel like teams do come out with intent
and take pride
in trying to shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you as a player, I would take that as honor, because if you out here and you're like, yo, because after they come to us and it's like, yo, he had no catches against us. That's because they expect you, like, they're like, that guy's, he gonna get something.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take it as a bad thing, but it may make him have to work a little harder, because now teams are out there to stop him. But you can counter that by using the other guys so they can't just stop him. It's not, it don't work. Football don't work like that. If you doubling me or tripling me, or you got extra guys on me, somebody else got to do something.
You and Adam were blind to the fact that that's what worked last year. That's what it was. That's what the offense always was, man.
Maybe. I'm not.
And for that,
no.
I admit I was kind of on the outside looking in, and we had our little back and forth about dips, all in fun, But I've always said that it was when I'm in trouble, chuck it up. He's got to be down there somewhere. He's gonna come down with it,
and he would make
and he
the
would
play.
come down with it.
So
So
now,
yes, it might have looked ugly, and players in the league disliked our praise or propping him up, but the facts are the facts of what he did, and now they're shutting the man down. So stop calling him that. Nah. You earn your nickname.
We are gonna say this, right?
Not bowing today.
We're not gonna bow anymore because he gotta. We need some more production out of him to get the,
Yeah.
But but they need to game plan to use him, especially if people are gonna key in on him. You use him to get the others open. We need more adjustment. We need
the team.
You gotta adapt,
guys, man. The team has guys.
And some of the guys, you guys also have to be a little smarter. Like if you running a route and a guy leaves, I'm gonna give an example of something that happened during this game. We got a guy on the sideline. Well, not coaching, but I'm just thinking of what I would have did on the play. I'm getting the ball there wide open, and I would have recognized, and they would have to change the whole defense. The guy's on the sideline. He runs up. The corner guards momentarily and then vacates. What would you do there, E?
Say it one more time. Sorry, I got it.
So you're on the sideline. You're running up. The corner shows like he's covering you, and then once you slightly pass him, he vacates back away.
Turn
around, come back down. Something, right?
Yeah.
What did the receiver do? Run to the safety. But I'm sure that was his route.
Yeah.
So it's not just on the receiver; it's on the QB.
You notice it
when you're out, when you're QBing, you have to recognize what they did. Or even your receiver should come back and say, "Yo, they're doing this. This is where you guys are a team." You come back and be like, "Yo, this safety
well,
is."
All right. You were deemed as a guy. You know what I mean? So you again, and we broke this down on the episode of Chick Flicks, where everybody's not a guy and everybody doesn't have the right to audible. You know what I mean? So
you don't.
It does tend to some robotic tendencies by some non-guys. Like my route is this.
I got to run my route.
I have to run my 15. I have to cut at this time or else.
Well,
you being a guy
can go back to the QB. Well, no. Well, it's when in playing this type of football, right? If I'm running a skinny post up the middle, and the middle linebacker is 15 yards deep, what is the QB going to do? It's going to throw it to me right away, and I'm going to take the 15. That's not me audibling. That's me being ready to take the play. The same thing with the outside guy. You're not really audibling. You're open already. You should be looking already.
I'm not.
You can get the ball anyway in your route.
What I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah,
but I'm not saying the audible. I'm not saying the audible.
Everybody's not there. Everybody's not there.
And the QB got to get it out.
Yeah. Everybody's not there.
I'm just saying, but it was a little frustrating to watch because there were adjustments to be made. Now, one thing I'm going to say: the Gladiators have been game planning their defense based on who they're playing, so they knew their scheme was going to work, and it worked. You know what I mean? I don't know what the problem is. You didn't force them to go to a secondary scheme. You just allowed them to run.
It's not even. It's at a point now, and it showed like the past 2 weeks. It's not if you stop Hashi, you don't just win. If you stop, they don't score. That's the like. Use your other guys, man.
And the week they got it done. It wasn't Hashi that scored the touchdown to win the game. You know what I mean? And that's it. Y'all just got to get it together.
Yeah.
Umair is doing Umair things on the other end. I know we've been harping on Wolfpack's woes, but Umair's been doing this thing on the other end. He got a little swag to him right now. He got a little swag to him. He coming up cool, calm, cool, and collected up at the
Yeah.
line. He's just looking around like I don't know if the game has slowed down to him or what it is. But
the whole thing with this team was the newbies buying in.
It looks like they have.
It looks like they have.
They look like a team. They look like a team. I'm very happy to see that. They look like a team. They try little things. Sometimes it don't work out, but nobody has a problem with it, and they're all together.
I think he needed them to buy in, but I don't know where they came from, but I think they needed to see, and like, why should we trust you? And I think they have that trust now.
Yeah.
You know? That's what it felt. That's what it felt like.
They couldn't. Maybe they didn't see what we knew already.
Yes, they had to see it, and I think they see
that
it
makes
now.
sense.
Yeah, they had to.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. Where you want to go?
Let's talk about the. We're gonna talk good fellas, but let's talk about the front runners that are the Outlaws, man. They're a team similar to Wolfpack. When they win, the whole park knows. The whole park knows. When they lose, you don't even know when they leave the field. Where they sneak out. Am I right or wrong? Like, let's call it what it is. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
They let you know when they win. Both these teams, especially Outlaw, they let you know when they. I don't know when these guys left the field last week. They know if they won.
They snuck out through the water. They snuck out through the water. They went towards the water and then they just disappeared out there. Well, no. So this score 40-14. I ref this game. This score to me was a little closer. The game was a little closer than the score may let on. They just couldn't get the. Sometimes you need this play to be made at this moment, and those plays weren't made. And then it's downhill from there because you know the good fellas are they're gonna keep their foot on the pedal.
So it sounds like it was a close first half. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they can't. I expected the good fellas to take it to them early, right? But it was close in the first half, and then they just couldn't complete the plays that they needed to. There was a deep bomb that could have been caught, that wasn't caught, and that would have made a difference in the game. And then, as we see in the chat, they scored 0 in the second half, and Goodfellas did Goodfellas things.
Well, what's the score at halftime
now? Shoot, I want to say 14. I can't remember exactly, but they had that 14. Yeah,
I know they have 4. I know they have 14. What the Goodfellas have?
Goodfellas may have. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I can't remember the halftime
14,
score, but it was close enough.
Okay.
It was close. Yeah, they started the game really good. Then one thing, and I said this to them, even when this game was to the point where you're like, okay, we're gonna lose this game. You have to continue to work on the things for the next game. Once they felt they were out of this game, it was like heads down. Let's just throw in anything, a little frustration. No, you gotta keep playing, because that'll translate to the next game. The Goodfellas aren't going to change their defense; they're just going to defend you the same way. They're not trying to let y'all score, but you got to play. But that's what you say, the front running thing. You gotta play through that.
And it's to show just how talented the Goodfellas team is, right? When you have a team of De Palma, James, Aunt Lewis, your nephew DJ, who's your post-game sound from?
Who's my post-game sound from?
Who's your post-game sound? Who's the player of the game in this game?
The player of the game. I'm just going to call him O
to the SGFL Flag League. We have Jermaine Brown from the Goodfellas here today. He had a really good game today. Tell us, Jermaine, how'd you feel out there today?
I felt comfortable, you know what I'm saying? They sleeping on me out here and shit, so I had to come back and show them what it's about. I ain't lose nothing. You know
okay.
What I'm saying?
Now, the sleeping, we're talking about touchdown, talking about 2 extra points, talking about defense, interception. Come on, man. How'd you get the interception?
Well, my defense, they helped me out a lot. My defense is making good plays, so they're putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, Steve, and I was able to get an interception. That's it.
Nice. Now, You ran one play for a touchdown. You ran sideline corner. You came back up the slot. You still got some legs, right?
Yeah, I still got some legs. You know, that's a play that me and Yash been studying for a long time. Automatic touchdown.
Ain't nothing new. He been doing this for 20 years.
You got to tell these young guys how to catch a ball.
Yeah.
Hands. All hands.
No, not just hands. There's no bobble in your catch.
No.
Tell them, when you lay hands on the ball, that's yours.
That's mine. That's what
They got James.
There you go.
For years.
For years. There you go. All right. We'll see you next week. Have a good day.
Yo, don't wait. Hold on. Don't forget, this guy had a game right here. Yo, he had a game. Yo, don't sleep on this dude. Got locked up, and James, you better watch out for this dude right here.
All right. So Jermaine had a touchdown, 2 extra points, and a pick during that game.
I don't want to be out of school or jump the gun, but we may hear or see some more about Jermaine later on this week.
Oh, okay.
We might, you know.
Okay. I got what you're alluding.
His name might be brought up again this week. I don't know. That's all.
Yeah. So that's like, and to be honest, like I know I've played with Jermaine, so he can catch the ball. He can do what he's his job. Like, I don't know, you know, he may get forgotten about on this team, but he could get it done. Another funny thing during this game, DJ had to bark in the huddle. And if you know him, he doesn't say anything. He had to bark on him in the huddle, and then he scored the touchdown after. I don't know if they're trying to hype him up.
Like, I'll get the next one or something like that. I'll score on the next one.
Yeah, he told him to relax. I'll get the next one. That's it. And that's exactly what they did. He scored on the very next play. So they're clicking on all cylinders right now. Goodfellas are the front runners.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into Sleepers All-Stars. Now,
let's give before you kill. Let's give props one way, because he was thrown into a rough situation. Simon, with Sheep being out, as Anas alluded to, that he was sick, so he wasn't able to play. So Simon, I don't know how much time you knew that he was going to start. Simon played a game. Yeah,
you played a game.
You played a game.
You did all you can do to give your team the opportunity to win this game. It's not on you. You did your job.
The problem with and it goes offense and defense, situational football, personnel. It felt selfish.
There was some comments.
Certain situations
sounded a little selfish outside looking.
Had to be off for other guys who were having better offensive games.
Yes. Oh, Ken was having a game.
That's the problem.
Now I know what you're talking about. Ken was having a game.
Ken was having a game.
If you're a teammate, I don't care if you think you're better than the guy or not. If your guy is having a game, if you're a teammate, you let your guy have the game.
You have to let him in.
Ken had like a 45-yard run back touchdown.
Everybody wanted to be the hero. That was the problem.
Everybody can't be the hero. Everybody can be the hero. And in the end, the people who wanted to be the hero lost the game. Lost them the game. The game not ended, but the most crucial shout out to Marv. Heads up play.
Well, talk about before they were down 20 to that tied it up. What were they down? 20-12. They had to score a touchdown and a clutch 2-point conversion by Khalid. By Khalid. Sorry. I called Khalid. By Khalid. And now we're tied up at 20. Paint the picture. You got it.
So we're tied up at 20. Just for the record, this is what I mean by closing the game. 2 consecutive plays on this drive went to Marv. On maybe like a 10 to 12 yard, just boom. And Ryan is playing very smart football. Let me not, let's not overshadow what Ryan's been doing. Ryan's been playing amazing. We kill Ryan a lot. He's playing good ball. He's looking like he is taking the next step of of being one of those QBs.
Yeah.
So it was dumped. I think it was like a 12 to Marv, and then when he got it the second time, he was heading to the first down marker. His flag falls off, but it looked like he was going to go out of bounds to stop the clock, but he didn't. And Simon was in the play, but it's not on Simon. It was on the other guy who was up the field to tag Marv. And then Marv just keeps running. Then heads up play some more. Marv gets close to the end zone, and he does not go in.
Runs parallel.
He runs parallel to let some more time tick off the clock. This is he's thinking the game. This may be the difference of why the sleepers are being successful right now. They're starting to think the game. Mm-hmm. They're not just out there playing backyard football anymore. He runs parallel, and still before somebody ran down there and realized what was going on, he had to take off a good 15 seconds or something like that. And then they run down there, he runs in the end zone touchdown. Now they're closing. They go for 2. Khalid, all hands catch over the middle. 2-point conversion is good. That was the game. Anything else that happened after that, it didn't really matter. The game was lost there. Now, let's go back to your teammates having a game. Your teammates having a game, maybe you guys continue to score if you don't want to be the guy that's doing the scoring. Does that make any sense?
Say one more time. One more time for people.
Maybe you guys continue to score if you don't want to be the guy that's doing the scoring. When you're on a team, it doesn't matter. It does all that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the wins and the losses.
You want the W.
You'll have your game. You'll have your game. So now what happens is now the next time maybe you're having a game. So how are you going to feel if they're like, nah, when I was having my game, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? But you guys got to do better. Simon, amazing game. There was Simon, Simon knows. I went to Simon in the offseason for him to be a starting quarterback on one of the D3 teams. I guess he couldn't do it, but I'm coming back to you next season, bro. Amazing game. Almost perfect. Flawless game. Shout out to Simon. Sleepers, Ryan, amazing game. Marv, way to close. Since the Sleepers D2 have added back Alfiz, they've been a completely different team.
Yeah.
So, shout out to the Sleepers are dangerous right now. Sleepers are very, very dangerous right now. They just got to keep trending in the right direction. Big guy on the Sleepers, Khalid.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's Khalid.
Very trusty. He's been trusty the whole time. Oh, wait, they do. They had one bonehead play.
My God. Oh, yeah. You can't say,
And it's good that it happened and they still won this game because they won't do it again. It won't happen again. So it was third down. It's third down. So Marv goes over the first and then it's like, wait, should I get the first? So he goes back and runs out of bounds before the first down. So now it's fourth down.
Now it's 4th and inches.
And they do a quick pitch that's dropped and turn the ball over.
Yeah.
It was. I just had, but that was. You know what though? Let me say this. He is thinking the game there. He just wasn't putting that. It was down, and he's what he wanted to do was something you do on first or second down. So then you take the shot the next down, and then we get it, but they're still showing that there is some. Maybe it was the wrong play, but the IQ is starting to go up. So I guess it's not so bad. Oh yes, Fees was running some boy. Fees was routing them up, boy. Fees was running some routes.
Yeah.
Ryan, you know. Yeah, you know he's your favorite teammate. Yeah, but Fees was routing them up. Happy to see them back together, and they've been successful since. So, all right. Prime time free agents. I think you were watching this. I was reffing this. Not your usual free agents game. They were short. Some guys, they didn't have the full the full bunch. It did seem like they only had 6, but they don't get no excuses.
They
Still had
Nikki P,
Nikki
aka
P,
Mikey T.
Mikey T.
They had Nikki P. That's enough.
He had a catch in this game. This was a meaningful catch at that, because it was for first down on, I think, 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
One hand stab out of the air. He's real. He's real.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey T, Nikki P, whatever we want to call him. He's real. And we already know what the QB does.
Hello. Can I give you the alley? Peyton Kemp?
Go ahead. I got you. Slangs that thing. And this game was a little closer than we thought. Prime time.
Was it 6-on-6? Well, it was
6-on-6 because prime. It was 6-on-6, and then AZ came in at the halftime
for the second half.
Yeah, but both teams were a little short.
Mm-hmm.
But primetime had Brian. Free agents had Mikey T, Nikki P. So they had their guys. As the ref in this game, there was a lot of I'm gonna say unnecessary complaining
about
being tugged or which I didn't see even on the watch. Even if we're gonna I didn't watch it back completely, but we're gonna watch it back.
Yeah,
I checked a couple plays and I didn't really, but sometimes you just got to play. And in the end, the free agents continue their streak. They're 5-0? I think
they're undefeated. Yeah.
5-0. What's the Goodfellas are their game? They've played one less game, right? They only missed the game against the Outlaws. Yeah. So they gotta, I'm glad they got this game now, because they're gonna see that you're not just gonna 40 everybody. Some teams will be able to defend better.
Like the defense had to step up. That's the one thing that we talked about on this team.
Mm-hmm.
The whole prime time, as you said, Brian, will cost to 18 points. Again, they were short.
Mm-hmm.
They were short. There was no ZQ.
There's no Altaf. They were missing a lot of guys.
They were missing guys.
They were missing a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But
free agents
so were the free agents. Free agents only get, and they usually run with 6-7 anyway. So it's not a knock for this game, because they just have it. You got your best guy.
Yeah.
And you have your QB.
Yeah.
You had AZ. You have so we're not, no excuse here. Yeah. Wakas needs to let it fly a little bit more to everybody, not play it safe. Safe isn't going to get it done. Go ahead.
I agree with you most times, but the only way that they were going to keep this game the way it was for him to play the way he played.
But I said this last week too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
I understand
to
what
win this game. He had to play
them from shorten the game.
He had to shorten the game.
I got you. Maybe that was the game plan this way, but this is a general statement for Wakas.
Yeah,
safe isn't going to get it done. I'm not just talking about winning this game. Safe isn't going to get you where you want to be at the end of the season. You got to let that thing fly.
So the free agents show that they can win by putting up 40 or hold teams to 18.
They grind. This one was grinded out. There's a lot of wind in this game. The wind was a factor. It actually made a couple passes sail a little further than they should have sailed, because this game could have been one of those 40s. If you don't remember, there was a couple passes that those guys were open, and it just 2 yards over because you're throwing with the wind, and we already know that Marco slings that thing. Pause. So, all right, did we cover all the games in this division? Let me get to
the standings, huh?
The standings. So Goodfellas 6-0, free agents 5-0, prime time at the top 4-2, Gladiators making a run up, so are the sleepers, Outlaws, Wolfpack, Lockdown, All Stars, Space Monkey, Thunder. Let me ask you a question. Which one of these teams at the bottom you think don't belong there?
Can I cheat a little bit?
Sure.
The All-Stars don't belong there. Space Monkey would not be there had they had the team that they have now. So again, it's only a one game that we've seen with the new version of Space Monkey, but if they would have had this team from week 1, they would be easily 3rd, 4th place. All-Star shouldn't be there. There's no excuse. All-Star shouldn't be there. Thunder shouldn't be there either, man. Thunder shouldn't.
Thunder got to work out the connection with one quarterback, and
we thought we'd have answers to it, but with them not playing, like that's still a thing. Like, who's the quarterback?
Who's the quarterback? I would assume the quarterback's Jason, and Dre is the backup. Or do we have a QB controversy? We don't know. We'll let you guys know, though. We'll have a storyline.
The team looks different. We got to admit, the team does look different.
It did look different that week. Who did they play?
But it was against.
They played.
That's what we said, that Jay could have possibly did the same thing against free agents.
Yeah. Free agents don't play defense.
But to answer your own question, who doesn't belong there?
Who doesn't belong down at the bottom there? Space Monkey. Space Monkey All-Stars. Well, Thunder's identity has been in question, but they have the guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would go Space Monkey. Space Monkey's Thunder All-Stars. They have the guys. So, but more Space Monkey All-Stars.
Yeah.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, E.
Man, oh man.
I think we've covered. I think we've covered everything. Guys, check. You guys can look back in the stats are almost totally updated. It's just a few games that I just received today that I'm gonna put in. Hopefully, maybe by tomorrow I can put up a league leaders. The app is actually not bad for the standings and some of the stats. For some reason, it won't categorize in order for some stat categories. I don't know why, but that's what's going on. But we'll get a league leaders up hopefully by tomorrow, if not the latest Monday.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot and make you answer with names, but do you have an idea of some award winners right now?
Oh, hell yeah.
You do?
Hell yeah.
You have an idea?
I have.
What awards will they be? Just so we
got MVP.
Uh-huh.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Uh-huh.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the Year. Manager of the Year.
Manager of the Year. Okay. And you have an idea for all three?
I have an idea for. I have a list, a short, very, very short list.
Mm-hmm.
So D2, I have a short list for the 4 top awards.
Okay.
For D1, D1 the same. D3 is a little tougher.
Yeah, D3 is the toughest right now.
D3 is a little tougher.
Mm-hmm.
D3, you're gonna really have to dive into some numbers. Like you can't see it. One or two awards, but for everything, D3, you're really gonna have to go look and see like what was done.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be tight.
Some of the guys what's funny about it, specifically one of the awards that I kind of feel like I know who's gonna get it by the number, because I see the numbers. I see the numbers all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
I see the numbers. I see all the numbers. So I kind of know who's gonna get it, and this person has transformed themselves into this with the team they're on.
But hold on, let me text you. Just to see if we're on the same page, because
you can text me, but I'm gonna show you the numbers when we get off. I'll show you the numbers when we get off.
I just text you.
Let me. You know what? Let me get the ending music because me and E gonna have.
Is that it though?
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it's numbers based. I think that's more eye test. I don't know if the stats bear it.
No, well, not okay. No, it's Iron Man.
Okay.
I'll show you because I wasn't sure, and then I went and checked the numbers. But anyway, this is a conversation for me and E to have off screen. E, final words.
Shout out to all the guests. Thank you, Rob, Derm, and Anas. Again, this was an okay week of football, you know. But again, we bigged up the rivalry game. We know we had Rob on for pretty long, but I thought it was a very good conversation, and he did earn a chance to speak his piece because we do. I do kill him on here. you not so much. You used to, but shout out to these guys again. Appreciate you guys. All the comments in there that helped the show go as smooth as it does. Rob, take us home, man.
Listen, man. All the players in the league deserve the same amount of love. That doesn't matter the division. You come on here, you get the same amount of love when you're good. You get the same amount of hate when you're bad. And it's in the end, it's all love. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sleepers. I like what you guys are doing. The Rob's team, the Spartans 2.0. Congratulations on the big win.
Big win, guys.
Anas, you guys have gotten going this second half. I know you took a loss this week, but Rohit has just been doing what he's been doing. It's a lot of good things. Oh, that's what I want to say. Honestly, this is I don't want to put pressure on them, but I think we're watching Lights Out become a D2 team. Same team. You add a guy that wanted to join the team.
They have a guy.
They have a guy that wants to join the team.
One of their guys.
Yeah. I could see them competing in D2 with no problem with the addition of the guys to compete in D2. Maybe one guy, two guys. What they have, so we're watching them grow up right in front of our eyes.
It's actually two. Maybe only one would join, but they came in with two. We're friends with two guys. If those two guys join them,
and with what they have, you guys can compete in D2 and be very, very formidable.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, SAFL, thanks for tuning in. Peace out,
Friday.
people.
Prediction show.
I just made that up. Take what's given. You'll get what you want to take.
Get up off the mat and get a big win right here.